I know Bibi Netanyahu, and as I sat in his office 5 years ago, he spoke then of the dangers posed by Iran. He travels here next week not to offend our president, but to warn the American people that our president's insistence on a deal with Iran at any cost is a danger to the world.
Former Hewlett-Packard CEO Carly Fiorina helping to kick off CPAC. This year's CPAC also considered a kickoff to the 2016 presidential race. And Carly Fiorina joins us. Nice to see you, Carly.
Great to be with you, Greta. Thanks for having me.
Carly, I was listening to your speech today, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you said 53% of the voters are women voters. They're not special interests. They are the majority. What does this mean going into 2016? So what's the strategy going into 2016 for both you and the men, assuming hypothetically you're all in the race?
Well, I think we just have to recognize that women who represent 53% of the vote have to be engaged for us to win. We have to win with women in order to win the White House. That's just a fact. It's just the laws of numbers. And women, of course, care about every issue. We care about the economy, we care about health care, we care about Iran, we care about ISIS, we care about immigration, education, and health care.
You also talked about, and we just had the soundbite with Prime Minister Netanyahu, a huge controversy because he's coming to town next week to speak, and the Democrats, a lot of them are going to be MIA. The president's not going to meet with him. How could the president sort of patch this one up? Because I mean, it's gotten to be an ugly spat. But we do need to be working with Israel. What would you, if you could whisper in the president's ear, what would you tell him?
What I think I would tell the president is that it's not about him. It is not about him. It is not an offense to him. It has to do with a man, a prime minister of Israel, who has warned for so many years that a deal with Iran at any cost is a danger. And so I would advise the president to keep his ego in check and listen carefully to the message that Bibi Netanyahu is trying to deliver to him and to the American people. And I am truly disappointed, I must say, that Democrats are treating this as a partisan issue. It's not a partisan issue. It is a national security issue.
We also talked today about reforming the tax code, and I spoke with Senate Finance Committee Chair Orrin Hatch a while back, and he said the great difficulty, even with the majority, of reforming the tax code, because you got to get past the filibuster for one. What's sort of your dream about this tax code? If you were president, you could do something. What would you do?
Well, I would start by lowering every rate and closing every loophole. You know, it's not just the rates in our tax code that are uncompetitive and too high. It's also the complexity of our tax code, which makes it so very difficult for small businesses and hardworking Americans to dig their way through it. If you're a big, powerful company like Hewlett-Packard, you can make the tax code work. You can make it work for you. But for the small or the powerless or the less wealthy, the complexity of the tax code is a problem. And so let's start by vastly simplifying it. And if there are one or two deductions that make sense, fine, let's put them back in. But what we keep doing is adding complexity to the tax code, even as we are increasing its rates.
What would you do about the very poor in some of these urban centers? We've got rural poor, and we don't have time to talk about all the poor, but if you were president, what would you do to help these urban poor? I mean, these neighborhoods are really hurting.
Well, that's right. They are. And I think, first of all, we have to start by acknowledging that everyone, regardless of their circumstances, needs the tools, the training, the support, the education to work. Somehow we have gotten to the place where we think that it's okay not to work, that it's okay to be trapped in this web of dependence, and it's not what people want. I've spent time with poor people. They don't want to be dependent. They want to live a life of dignity and purpose and meaning. So we have to give them the education, the tools, and the training. We have to give them support. I happen to be chairman of the largest microfinance organization in the world. It works. So we ought to bring some of those same tools and innovations to poor places. And finally, we need to restore Main Street small businesses, because it's small businesses that create most of the new jobs, employ half the people, and we can't grow jobs and grow our economy without small business, and it's getting crushed right now.
All right, you've taken another swing at former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton today, even using the word swing. Hitch in her swing. What's going on?
Well, my point was that Hillary Clinton has tried to wage a war on women. She tries to use identity politics to divide the electorate. I merely pointed out that if she were facing a woman as her general election opponent, that she couldn't roll out some of those old tricks, and that we might actually have to talk about the issues, the policies, the results she's achieved or hasn't achieved, and what we would each do to bring our nation forward.
Carly, nice to see you, and I certainly hope you'll come back.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.